Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Steve Castor. I'm the Regional Director for the Painters and Allied Trades here in the Northern and Central Valley. And organizationally, we still oppose SB 47. I want to just point out that we are a compassionate organization, and I think what struck me was the evidence that to date there is no link of this component to cancer at all. Our members that install these field turf products are exposed to the components day in and day out for many, many years, all the time, and we have nobody within our organization that has suffered any ill effects to date. Health and safety is a key component of all of our training platforms, and with that said, I just want to touch on the environment. We view this as a win-win, the use of this component. We can't bury tires, obviously, in landfills anymore, so this product and the use of it in field turf has just been an absolute win-win, we believe. I would ask the committee members to look around your districts, whether it's your universities, your community colleges, your high schools, your parks and recreation divisions. You're going to find, for the most part, community people working on these community projects. And if that doesn't impact your local economies negatively, I don't know what will. So we still oppose the bill. We ask that you consider the facts, and we urge caution here before we turn this industry upside down. I think we just need to be a little more cautious. So we oppose the legislation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Good morning. Greg Herner with Carpenter Sievers on behalf of BAS, which is a tire recycler and partner with Cal Recycle in finding uses for alternatives for tires, and Field Turf, which is the largest installer of artificial turf fields in the world and offers a variety of infill products, including some of the so-called alternatives. I think, our biggest concern in what you've heard here is this bill remains a solution in search of a problem. The findings and declarations completely mischaracterize the state of the science and fail to acknowledge alternative infill products have not been studied at all, and any impacts from them are completely unknown. Laura Green, who's a PhD toxicologist from UC Berkeley, stated in March of last year, "I find no reliable basis for the notion that crumb rubber infilled synthetic turf fields pose a significant risk of cancer. Several groups of investigators from academia, government, and consulting firms have performed environmental monitoring and are modeling studies of crumb rubber and synthetic fields and have reached the same conclusion." It's a statement of a toxicologist from the University of California that did the study that included ingestion, dermal contact, and any other types of exposure for the state of California. UC Berkeley did that study, and they found that there's no elevated health risk. There's no environmental impacts from recycling used tires. That's been studied as well. There is no leaching. They've studied whether having fields and any runoff puts any type of chemicals or anything into our groundwater system or into our runoff. It doesn't. This is a fabulous use for this product. The reason that Field Turf and BAS oppose this bill is because this is the lowest cost, best performing, reduces injury rates to players over other types of fields. It provides real opportunity. It increases the amount of playing time that's available. So you have places like the residents of San Francisco that were here where they're looking at putting these products in, and they're putting these products in because they want to provide recreational opportunities, more hours of time for people to get outside, exercise in a safe environment. It saves water. It saves maintenance costs. Unstudied alternatives have consequences. Los Angeles was brought up. They did use alternatives. Those fields have failed. It's costing taxpayers millions of dollars to pull out that infill and go to a different product. My understanding is that they actually use TPE, which is virgin plastic that we import from Europe. How is that advancing our state recycling goals by bringing in virgin plastic materials into California instead of recycling products that our consumer use. I don't want to discount the emotional stories of cancer. They're tragic. I think probably every one of us has had cancer in our family or we know somebody. It's a very prevalent disease. There's products around this committee room that will cause cancer if there is an exposure. But it's all about that exposure. The list of cancers that are in the soccer coach put together and everybody's adding together are unrelated cancers. They cannot be from the same source. It's tragic, I agree. And people want to reach out and blame something. Crumb rubber has become the cause celebrity right now for that purpose. What about the grass fields? What about the pesticides used on those fields? What about those? I grew up on somebody mentioned growing up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. I was exposed to incredible amounts of different products while on that farm. But you take safety precautions. Just as labor has talked about their safety briefings, Field Turf works with them to ensure that environmental exposure does not occur. And that's where you see, and at the tire recyclers where they're grinding before that stuff is washed and other things, that's where you would see the elevated risks, not on the fields. So, and other things are brought in like lead, which had nothing to do with crumb rubber or any other infill alternatives that had to do with pigmentation in the grass. So for those reasons, we continue to oppose the bill because it just mischaracterizes the state of the science. It creates fear in the public for a really good product that actually is very beneficial and helps the state meet our goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Others opposed to the bill?
Chairman and the committee, my name is Randy Rojas, and I'm a District Council 16 business representative to Local 1237. I'm a floor cover by trade for over 20 years. I represent over 200 skilled tradesmen who work in the turf industry or who have the potential to do this work. My members handle and install crumb rubber on a daily basis. To my knowledge, none of them have had any adverse effects for working with crumb rubber. And to my knowledge, there's been no increased case of cancer or deaths due to crumb rubber or any other product associated with the installation of field turf. A bill like SB 7 could limit or keep my members from earning a living wage for the next 3 years. It could also force some of them to have to leave California to seek employment and other opportunities. I oppose SB 47.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. My name is Mike West. I'm the Director of Communications for District Council 16, Painters and Allied Trades. I've passed out some issues of our Pride magazine. I'm the editor and photographer for our magazine. I tour our jurisdiction and photograph our members doing all of our basic crafts, including floor covering. You'll see in those photographs that our members are rolling that material out and handling it on a daily basis. And I just want to mention that the health and safety of our members remains a priority. I'm actually taken aback by Senator Hill's comments that it might be some kind of conspiracy between us and the manufacturers. Our members are likely to install this product, whether it's crumb rubber infill or any other infill, but this conversation will have a chilling effect on the industry, and like my colleague said, will send some of these jobs out of state. So my next part of my testimony, with that said, the health and safety of our members doing this installation is priority one, focuses on benefits to the students that are playing on these fields. So when I'm at these fields, I obviously interview the athletic directors, and they tell me the same kind of things. The community comes together, raising money, community partnerships, the boosters, and the field turf is usually part of a larger renovation project that pumps new life into the school. So I decided to call back both Carmel High School and Del Campo High School for some follow-up questions on some benefits or any misgivings about their turf field. There were no regrets. The gentleman that I spoke to at Carmel High School mentioned to me that they got a $1 per square foot grant from the water district to remove grass and install the turf field, which, if my my math is correct, is about $75,000 towards their installation project. And it revived sports like field hockey, lacrosse, and soccer that were not allowed to play on Carmel's home field because of the overuse creates hazards for the players. So now these athletes can come back, play on their home field, and be scouted for college scholarships, and it's a better opportunity for them to be scouted on their home field than playing at a park or a junior high school. When I spoke to the athletic director at Del Campo, she mentioned to me that their health and safety public officials, firefighters, EMTs, all train now on Del Campo's field because San Juan is now a big mud hole because of the rain. It's an all-weather surface. And the other thing is San Juan Unified School District receives money for usage fees from anybody but nonprofits. The nonprofits, though, are ready to come and raise money, contribute to school funds, and they also work the track meets for the Del Campo athletes as a payback. So these fields continue to pay dividends in the community back to the schools beyond what they possibly could imagine in the, on the initial installation. For those reasons, we continue to oppose, and I did want to reiterate that regardless of the way, you know, Crumb Rubber comes out, we are in favor of the studies, but our members will continue to do that installation regardless. We continue to oppose SB 47. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Ryan Flanagan on behalf of the West Coast chapter of the Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries. We echo Mr. Herner and Mr. Lavelle's comments. We just feel like this continues to perpetuate the false narrative that somehow crumb rubber is detrimental to human health when we have over 50+ studies showing that not to be true. So for these reasons, we remain in opposition. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
No, you're good, you're good.
You good? Okay. My name is Robert Ringower. I am an installer, and I'm also an instructor of the filter. I work with, hand in hand with the installers, and every day they work with the chrome rubber. They have their bases are in the bags. We cut the bags open, and not one of our installers has had cancer or do they have cancer now? Being safety is one of our biggest issues. So if we even hear of it, we would be one of the first ones to send out a red flag. And so far, you know, knock on wood, none of our guys have had it or any signs of having the cancer or any sort of cancer. So, I mean, there's no way to pinpoint down what the cancer is causing. And like you brought up with the two young ladies, I don't wish cancer on anyone, you know, but dealing with our trades, we have not ran into that issue at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ray Burnell with the California Catholic Conference. We remain in opposition and will reevaluate as we look at the amended language.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Madam Chair and members, Ian Padilla with the Coalition for Adequate School Housing. We have an oppose unless amended position on the bill. We did not get our letter in time, so it's not reflected, and we apologize for that. We support the study. We supported the study last year in the bill. We think that's the best approach. More information is good on the issue, and so we don't think there should be new requirements right now while we let the while the study is being conducted. We again support that, but until then, we think that school districts have sufficient local flexibility to have these informed discussions at the local level. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Member Cesar Diaz, on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, here to regretfully oppose this bill. Like many speakers before, we do support the studies. We want to thank the Senator for highlighting what could potentially be an issue on the field, or dealing with chemicals, or dealing with any materials that our members are exposed to. But as you've heard from our affiliates, from members of the actual manufacturing community, we believe this bill sends a wrong message to districts, particularly when this body and other bodies, committees here in the legislature have dealt with issues such as nutrition, healthy activity in schools, trying to promote environmental standards and quality. So for those reasons, we oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any others opposed to the bill? Are there any questions from members on the dais? Senator Monning.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate the full exchange of ideas here and concerns. I guess one of my questions from the labor perspective, when I heard the opposition testimony, sounds as the same unions that might install the rubber crumb product are also installing alternatives. So I don't see jobs being at risk, particularly with the amended nature of this bill that simply asks that a school district consider all options. In light of maybe not scientific study evidence, but anecdotal evidence of clusters of cancer, particularly among children who are spending hours on these playing fields, it's counterintuitive to think that ingesting chemicals, these rubber crumbs, inhaling those, swallowing those, when the tires can't be put in landfills because of their toxic properties. So we're using now playing fields as the alternative location for toxic products that can't safely be put in a landfill, but we're suggesting they can safely be ingested by children on playing fields. Again, the modest nature of this amended bill simply says there's enough for us to at least allow our elected school board members, parents and families, to consider options. And none of those options that I've heard will displace union workers. We require prevailing wage to be paid in any school construction project. You know, I represented the United Farm Workers Union for years and represented victims of toxic pesticide exposure. And we got told year after year after year by the EPA that these chemicals were safe. Unfortunately, it was the farm workers who were the guinea pigs. And after cancer clusters, after deaths, after both acute and chronic exposures, chemical after chemical got pulled from the market, only after we could prove a tragic chain of exposure. In those cases, we all said farm workers were the guinea pigs. Now, my fear is we're going to put our young children athletes as the guinea pigs. Do we really want to wait until we have conclusive evidence, or do we want to take a precautionary step to protect not only our children? I'm glad to hear from the union representatives that there's no evidence of worker ill health effects. But you know, some of these exposures take years to germinate and generate. I think we do our children, our workforce, and our state a benefit by taking a precautionary approach that does not stop the installation of these fields as an option after careful consideration by parents through their elected school boards. So I'll be supportive of the bill today as amended. It would be my hope that labor, parents, school boards would all work together to determine what is the safest path for our children at this stage without removing any options. So thank the author, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from members? I would concur with Senator Monning, but I am concerned about the presumptive nature of the bill in terms of singling out a particular industry, so to speak, as to the cause of all of our problems. But this bill is a modest bill, and it just requires a public hearing to discuss all of the alternatives to replacing a field. And with that, I mean, I would entertain a motion to move the bill. This bill, as amended, will go to the floor. It's not fiscally marked, so we'll see it on the floor sometime. So please call the roll. It's been moved.
Do pass as amended to the floor. Liu?
Aye.
Liu, aye. Runner? Block? Hancock? Hancock, aye. Leyva? Mendoza? Monning?
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan? Vidak?
No.
Vidak, no. That's 3-1.
3-1. We'll leave the roll open for our absent members, and today we do have absent.
Appreciate your indulgence into time.
Thank you,
members.
Okay. So we have the second item. I will entertain a motion on the consent item, which is item 3. So moved. Okay. Consent calendar. Move the consent calendar, and that is SB 616, Public Schools Asian Lunar New Year Day. Okay. Consent. Please call the roll.
Do pass to the floor. Recommended consent. Liu?
Aye.
Liu, aye. Runner? Block? Hancock? Hancock, aye. Leyva? Mendoza? Monning?
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan? Vidak?
Aye.
Vidak, aye. That's 4.
Okay, we'll leave the roll open for our absent members. Okay, we have Senator Leyva's bill, item SB 66, and I think we have a substitute today. Ms. Leyva is busy with a daughter's wedding, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. And good morning, Madam Chair and members. Thank you so much for allowing this opportunity. And I apologize that I am not Senator Leyva. It is a big week in the Leyva family as her daughter is getting married, and in true Leyva fashion, it starts on a Monday and rolls to Sunday, so truly. And a big congratulations to the Senator. But I am pitching today on Senate Bill 66 and really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to present. Through the chair, I would like to be able to address the proposed amendments in the bill. Senator Leyva would like to accept the amendments recommended in comment 6 in the analysis as the author's amendments. Senator Leyva would also like to remove the section of the bill relating to Cal Grant C awards with the commitment to continue working with the committee on the issue in order to address concerns regarding the current language. And I also want to say thank you to the chair and to her incredible staff for all the work on this. Senate Bill 66 aims to streamline and improve career technical education programs at the California Community College system by improving data collection, updating reporting requirements, and increasing access for low-income students. Workforce training at the community colleges are extremely important. I know that all of you are passionate about it. The Public Policy Institute of California estimates that our state will face a labor shortage of 1.5 million workers with some college education by 2025, and some colleges defined by a few units all the way up to an AA degree. Workers with some college education earn between 20 and 30% more than workers that only achieve a high school diploma. Trained workers with jobs in high-growth sectors such as healthcare practitioners and technicians earn on average $27 more per hour than they could earn with only a high school diploma. In 2014, the California Community College Board of Governors commissioned the Task Force on Workforce, Job Creation, and a Strong Economy to help address the skills gap. The task force, consisting of representatives from community colleges, the business community, labor, K-12 policymakers, and more. It was a significant and robust process. Spent a year convening town halls and regional group meetings to develop policy recommendations designed to improve career technical education in the community college system. And SB 66 aims to address two of these recommendations that require legislative fixes. Specifically, number one, it would require the California Department of Consumer Affairs to make licensure information available to the California Community College Chancellor's Office for the purposes of matching students and evaluating the outcomes of career technical education programs. So, for example, dental hygienists, or smog technicians, pharmacy techs, cosmetology. Second, it would align state accountability reporting requirements with the Federal Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act to remove reporting inefficiencies for programs receiving multiple sources of funding. Senator Leyva and I will continue working with the committee to fine-tune Senate Bill 66 in order to address the comments raised in the committee analysis and hopefully reincorporate the changes to the Cal Grant C program later in the year. And again, Madam Chair, thank you for all your work. We also look forward to working with Governor Brown and legislative leaders to maintain the $200 million allocated in the 16-17 budget proposal in the implementation of the task force recommendations. Madam Chair, we have some individuals that are going to be testifying today. We have Bon Tan Quinlan Bon and Rosa de Anada from the California Community College Chancellor's Office. They are both here to speak in support and to answer any technical questions. I'm sorry that I went on so long, and I really appreciate your patience, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. In support of the bill, please.
Madam Chair and members, I'm Vince Stewart with the Community College Chancellor's Office. I'm actually sitting in for Rosa de Anda. I won't repeat what Senator McGuire just stated about the bill. I do want to thank him for his efforts and his appearance today to present on behalf of Senator Leyva. He indicated that this bill will implement or would implement recommendations of our Strong Workforce Task Force, which we think is critically important. I also want to recognize the work of the chair and her staff, as well as the author staff, in developing the amendments to the bill. We think that those amendments are an improvement to the language, and we are certainly committed to continue working on the Cal Grant C portions of this effort. I have with me Von Tan Quinlivan, who is our Vice Chancellor for Economic and Workforce Development, and she can certainly get into any specifics around the data elements of the legislation and answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Others in support of the bill?
Hi. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Barbara Barron with the California EDGE Coalition. We're a coalition of business, labor, and social justice organizations. Several of our members actually served on the Stronger California Task Force, and so we are excited to be able to support the implementation of some of its key recommendations. We've actually long promoted the importance of data alignment as a critical portion of the architecture of an effective career tech system, allowing us to respond to regional labor markets effectively, to make effective evidence-based policymaking, and also to effectively serve all students, including those who need remediation and from underserved communities, because we'll have the data to let us know what's going on with them. So we think that the data portion of the bill as it stands definitely needs, the metrics need to be fleshed out, and we know that the Chancellor's Office is interested in working on that, and as is the author, and we're interested in working with them. We also would echo what Vince just said about, we continue to have a strong interest in strengthening Cal Grant C as a critical financial support for CTE students, and look forward to working with everybody on that.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Madam Chair, members, Angela Williams from the California Student Aid Commission. The Commission does not have a formal position on the bill, but we continue to work with the author's office and also the Chancellor's office, and also your staff on the larger question around Cal Grant C. There's lots of reform work happening also inside of the Commission, looking at not only the metrics, but also the effectiveness. As you know, the Cal Grant C started in 1978, and it was $2,000 for tuition and fees and $500 for books. Now it's just a little over those, and that's been, some time. So the larger issue, again, we welcome the conversation around reform around Cal Grant C and also its effectiveness.
Thank you very much. In support.
In support. Thank you. Mark McDonald, McCallum Group, on behalf of the San Diego, San Bernardino, Los Rios, and South Orange County Community College districts in support. This bill strengthens our CTE programs. And we also look forward to working with the committee and the author in the development of the Cal Grant C portion of the bill, but urge your aye vote today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea York on behalf of the California Community College Association for Occupational Education and the Faculty Association for California Community Colleges. We're very excited about the report and the implementation, and also other conversations moving forward about how to sustain funding for these programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan McElhaney on behalf of the Community College League of California, testifying in support.
Thank you.
Mira Morton here on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce, also pleased to support.
Great. Thank you. Any others in support? Is there any opposition? Seeing none. The bill has been moved. Oh, question.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Senator Leyva and abstention. This is a great bill, and had you not moved it, I would have. Thank you.
Okay. Good. The bill has been moved. Any other questions or comments to the representative here? No. All right. Let's call the roll.
Do pass.
Excuse me. Do you want to close?
I just want to say thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to Senator Leyva for incredible leadership and to the Chancellor's office, but in particular, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Do pass to appropriations.
It's going to be amended in appropriations, right? Yes. It's going to be amended in appropriations.
Liu.
Aye.
Liu, aye. Runner. Block.
Aye.
Block, aye. Hancock. Aye. Hancock, aye. Leyva. Mendoza. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye. That's 5.
Aye votes sufficient for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members. So thank you very much. That can, we have to open the roll for our absent members for bills for more votes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have item 1, SB 47, Hill. It's called the absent members.
Was due pass as amended to the floor. Chair voting aye. Runner. Block. Block. Leyva. Mendoza. Pan. That's 3-1.
3-1. Well, we'll keep the roll open for, we have one more absent member, okay? And the consent calendar. Item 3, SB 616.
Chair voting aye. Runner. Block.
Aye.
Block aye. Leyva. Mendoza. Pan. That's 5-0.
5-0. We'll keep the roll open for our absent member, but the bill is out. Okay. And I understand that Senator Mendoza is returning to the podium, so those of you who have voted, you're excused. We'll keep the roll open for a few more minutes. Okay, let's open the roll on item 1 and allow our absent member to vote. Item 1 is SB 47, Hill.
Do pass as amended to the floor. The vote now is 3-1. Chair voting aye. Runner? Block? Leyva? Mendoza? Mendoza, no. Pan?
And Monty.
So sorry, never mind, I'm sorry. We have him.
All right.
3.
Okay, so the bill fails, and we can grant it reconsideration if the author so chooses. And I guess we'll hear. Oh, all right. So item 2, SB 66. Leyva?
Do pass to appropriate. The vote is 5-0. Chair voting aye. Runner? Leyva? Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Pan? That's 6-0.
6-0, that bill is out. And item 3, SB 616, Huff, it's on consent, the consent calendar.
Vote is 5-0. Chair voting aye. Runner? Leyva? Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Pan? That's 6-0.
6-0, that bill is, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, members and staff and audience. We're adjourned.